Chue, Wache, Ani, Sego, Tanse, welcome everyone to another webinar of Indigenous Voices. We always like to throw the poll out there. Have you ever been to the ROM before? So while people are arriving, I am so excited that today we have a record number of people who have registered. We have students grade 1 to grade 6. There are 15,050 people that are registered, students from across Ontario. Welcome all 15,000 of you. 15,050. What I want to say out the gate is that our system can only hold 1,000 on the Zoom webinar, but we do have a link that was sent at 10 o'clock this morning to all teachers. So if you're having trouble arriving, all 15,050 of you, please use the ROM YouTube link that was sent to you so that you can still watch live with your students, and that link will be in the chat. So keep your ear to the ground for that chat if you're having troubles logging in. We apologize for the limits of the Zoom system, but this Indigenous Voices is looking at Mother's Day and powwow. And what's exciting is I am seeing that 208 of you that have logged in so far have been to the ROM before, and 56 or 21% are new. Well, I'm just happy to welcome you all back. I want to also know, because we're talking about dancing today while people are arriving, here's another poll. Did anyone like that music that welcomed us? I want to thank Asani for sharing their music with us to greet everyone in the waiting room. So when you heard that music today, did it get you moving? Yes, a little bit, or no? Not everybody's awake this time of day, even though it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I want to thank everybody near and far, and even people who might be in a time zone, to join us today for our visit on Indigenous Voices. We're always super excited. Okay, look at that. 84% of you, most of you did move a little bit. So Asani did their job helping us create a little bit of energy in the waiting room. Some of you moved a little bit, and there's like 3% of you that are still waking up, or maybe just aren't dancers, because we're not all dancers. So I'm so excited that you enjoyed the music, because today is about dancing. We did make a theme of Mother's Day, and yes, Mother's Day happened yesterday. But here at the Royal Ontario Museum, the Royal Ontario Museum itself was 107 years old. That's why we do the land acknowledgement. And guess what? So is Mother's Day. Every tradition was once brand new. And in 1914, Mother's Day became a tradition. There's much deeper roots than that are related to Christianity, not my culture, not my tradition. But let's just stick to the fact that the ROM and Mother's Day share the same anniversary, 1914, 107 years ago, we started a tradition of Mother's Day. And for me, my homeland or my motherland is actually more than 3,500 kilometers away. So that's one of the reasons why we like to do the land acknowledgement, because I now live here in downtown Toronto, and I'm actually broadcasting from my home. But I'm so excited to be working at the Royal Ontario Museum since 2014. And we're also super excited to work with our partners, the Association for Native Development and the Performing and Visual Arts. AMPAVA helps us pay for our artist fees and help us stay home, stay safe, and make art. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off by making art. Even though it's not Mother's Day, Indigenous communities celebrate mothers year round. And because history, it's important to know in Indigenous Voices, we're going to make art and we're going to do some dancing, but it's also an education program. So one of the things that we have is an Indigenous Advisory Circle, and they reminded us we're not just the entertainment. You're going to learn a little bit while you're visiting us here at Indigenous Voices, because our goal is for our students and teachers alike to see the world from a different perspective. Here's a little bug eye that I tend to hand out. And I want you to understand that Mother's Day is a complicated history for many Indigenous people, because we have a very complicated history that involves the Indian Act. And our guest will help us understand that a little bit more when we meet Deanne shortly. But what I'm imagining is that we were also not allowed to do art. So as part of Indigenous Voices, we talk about the potlatch ban between 1884 and 1951. Indigenous artists in Canada and people Indigenous peoples from across the country were not allowed to practice their art, their ceremony, their culture, their language. And I say this to lay brain tracks, even though you're in grade 1 and grade 2 and you're wondering, what's a potlatch band? What's an Indian act? By the time you get to grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, it's going to start making more sense. So it's never too early to learn a little bit about history. So technically, it's not always an easy history to talk about. But what we're going to talk about today is a chance to make art that focuses on the sign I love you, because in Indigenous Voices, we like to do a sign of the day because there are deaf students out there that would like some help sharing their culture as well about being deaf. So I have deafness and my kids all understand sign language. So the sign for today is I love you, Mom. But sometimes we have like aunties. So there's the letter A. Or maybe we have grandmas that take care of us. So mom is like this, grandma is like this. Maybe we have an auntie that's like this. Maybe we have an uncle that helps us. Sometimes we have uncles or a dad that we celebrate on Mother's Day because we have a solo. So we could say dad or grandpa. So we can celebrate the people in our lives. Auntie, this is mom, grandma, auntie, uncle, here's dad, grandpa. But what we're saying is I love you and thanks for taking care of me. So in our art activation today, you could trace your hand. And because I love you is this way, I actually, because I'm right-handed, I have to trace my hand and I'll draw my fingers later. So I am just going to show you how I do it. And you can come back to this art activity because I think many of you showed up today because you would rather be dancing, because I know I love to dance. So I'm going to make sure my thumb is out to sort of exaggerate that L. And then, like I said, I'm going to draw my fingers in that are part of the I love you sign. And because I'm an artist, I like to draw my fingernails in. And I feel a bit of pressure because you're all watching me, but I'll do my best to not be too messy. And the other thing to keep in mind to make art like this really jump out is don't be shy to use like a black marker later to clean it up. And the other thing that I found out is you can also go back and use your eraser later. So if you miss anything and there's any parts to clean up, you can use your eraser on the end of your pencil to clean that up nicely. But here is just a really simple art activity saying, I love you. And you can keep outlining that. And what I wanted to do is suggest to students that you might want to do something called a letter. It's like an old school thing. It's very old fashioned and it involves an envelope. And what's really nice about the way paper is designed, that if you fold it exactly and you put your envelope like this, you can actually fold it in fancy thirds quite easily, because paper and envelopes were kind of made for each other. So look at that, it fits there nicely. And you could do an old school letter that puts your name and your mailing address. You could get some help and you could send this to the person that you're saying I love you to. And trust me, it feels really good, especially as an adult, to get something in the mail that's not like boring adult stuff, but an actual letter that says I love you in it would be really wonderful. So I'm not going to drag that out for very long. Mostly we just really at Indigenous Voices today really wanted to celebrate the change of seasons with you. We know Mother's Day was yesterday, and some teachers were upset that we were doing Mother's Day activity thereafter, but mothers are worth celebrating year round, and mother figures, because for a lot of different reasons, families can be really complicated. I was raised in foster care, so I have more than one mom, which for people who are in foster care, that might make sense to. For other people, it doesn't make sense. Or if you have a blended family or lots of reasons, we might see different people in our lives with that mom energy or big sister energy or auntie energy. So don't be shy to share that love by saying, I love you year round, and maybe send people a letter. I even went out and bought some extra postage stamps so that I could be ready to share letters with my friends and family. So that was just my humble introduction today, because we are more excited about the chance to actually do some dancing. So what I want to do is I want to change my background so that you see some really beautiful moccasins. Oh, where are the moccasins I was going to show you? Let's use these ones. These moccasins are special to me because these moccasins actually come from Duck Lake, Saskatchewan. And what stands out in history for me on Duck Lake, Saskatchewan, is that was one of the last places residential school closed down. And so these moccasins are special to me because we remember residential school survivors when I look at them. So here we go. I'm going to take a moment to share my screen so I can introduce you to our guest today. We're going to have a chance to meet with Deanne Hupfield. And what I want to say on Deanne is that we could come back to this beautiful picture of leggings. This might be something you see at a powwow, but here is a picture of Deanne. Deanne is Anishinaabe from the Temagami First Nation. She's the host of How to Powwow Dance on YouTube. Deanne's goal is to make powwow dance accessible for all people. She's an Indigenous educator specializing in teaching powwow dance and regalia making. So I am going to stop talking and introduce Deanne Hupfield. Welcome, Deanne. Share your camera and unmute, and we'll be happy to say hello.
Ani, everyone.
Ani, that was one of the greetings we heard today. I'm glad you're here with us.
Yeah, me too. This is a great opportunity to connect with students I haven't ever seen before.
Well, today we have 15,050 that have tuned.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I wonder how many eyes that is. I bet you teachers could have fun after this webinar to go back to class and go, how many eyes would be looking at Deanne and Jeanette right now if there's 15,050 students tuned in? I'm glad you made it today. So one of the things we talked about was who inspired you to powwow dance as a way to start?
So I have a little story that I like to tell when I talk about my inspiration for powwow dancing. So I remember going to my very first powwow when I was a little girl, and I must have been like 7 or 8 years old, and it was in Thunder Bay. And I remember walking into the arena with my mom holding her hand. And I remember hearing the drum, and I remember seeing them in the middle of the arena, and I remember seeing dancers dancing around them. And I saw this one woman, and she was dancing and she was spinning. And to me, she was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. And I got so excited and I said, Mom, I want to learn to dance. Teach me to dance. And my mom, she looked down at me and she said, I'm sorry, Deanne, I can't teach you that. I didn't learn that growing up. So my mom, she says, go follow behind those women and go do what they do. So me being this tiny kid and no regalia, I just went in my clothes and my socks or shoes, and I just followed the women around for years and years. And my mom always made sure to take me to powwows because she knew I really loved them.
Beautiful, beautiful story, Deanne. And is that footwork a sample of something we might do today?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm excited.
I don't know if I'm spotlighted. Am I
Yeah,
spotlighted?
you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I grew up, I later learned that the reason why my mom couldn't teach me to dance was because she was a part of the 60s scoop. And the 60s scoop, that might be something that you guys can look into later. But my mom was taken away from her family and she was raised with non-Indigenous people. So she didn't have a chance to learn her own culture. So since I was a little girl, I have been learning as much as I can about my culture and sharing it with my community and sharing it with non-Indigenous people, so other people could also learn about our culture. So at powwows, one of the first things I want to say is everyone is welcome to go to powwows. And I want to teach you all some basic steps. So the next time you go, you can have some steps to dance to, and you can feel welcome in our space.
Lovely.
So we're going to start off by clapping our hands. Okay, Nishin. Now we're going to add a little dip with our knees. Nishin. Okay, so now we're going to take that clap and we're going to bring it all the way down to the ground. And we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nishin, na ni buin, stand up. So now we're going to take that movement and we're going to do the same thing with our feet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so since this is probably a new movement for your body, we're going to play around with it and we're going to get a little bit silly. We're going to program it into our muscle memory, and we're going to do that by taking steps big as humanly possible, as big as you can. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nishin. And Nishin means good in Anishinaabe, my language. Okay, so now using our teeny tiny voices, we're going to take teeny tiny steps. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nishin. Okay, when I say go, I want you all to go as fast as possible. Faster, 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 fast as you've ever gone in your whole life. And when I say freeze, you're going to freeze on the spot. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, Nishin. Okay. Now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go slow motion. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nishin. Okay. So now let's try walking real time. So in your space, if you can, we're going to do a little circle, a little tiny circle. Because at most powwows, we always dance, in this territory, we dance clockwise in a big circle. So we're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So to make it a little bit harder, we're going to add a hop. And it's kind of like hopscotch or like skipping. And it looks like this. So I want you to try this with me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to put on a song for about maybe 1 minute, and I want you all to listen to our music. So our music, it's mostly sung. It's it's mostly sung by men, but some women also sing the songs. But I'm going to use a song that my friend Nathan made for us today. First, I'm going to share my music. And then go onto my iTunes. So every time you hear a beat, you want your feet to touch the ground. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Move your arms if you want. Okay, I see you moving your arm. Abrupt ending. So
if that was hard for you, I want you to let us know. I think we have a poll. Do we have the poll for if that was hard?
Was it easy to?
Oh yeah, easy or hard? Let us know. So let's see. I think we have some questions here that we wanted to go over, Janet.
Oh, definitely. I know that some people said, why did we even, what was the dance name that you just did? What,
so I am a fancy shawl dancer.
Lucky. So that's a very distinct kind of dance, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. But
yep.
half and half. Hey, some people thought it was hard.
Yep.
And some people.
So the people, that's amazing. That means you guys must be active. You must be like using your bodies if that was easy. Because this is like hard work to power dance. It's like running your fastest for like a whole song.
People are making lots of great comments about the music. They were asking, what would that be called? That particular song?
This song, we call this song, it's a grass dance song, but most of the songs are sung, we call them intertribals, or we call them straight songs. So there's different types of beats, and today we only have straight beats. So the straight beats would match the dance that I just showed you, the 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Because some of the beats are more, we have crow hops, we have double beats, we have sneak ups. We have songs for any occasion, and sometimes the steps will change depending on the song. So I want to take a minute and I want to show you guys my dance with my shawl. And I want you all to think about what my dance reminds you of. Does it remind you of an insect? Does it remind you of a bird? And we're going to ask you that when I'm done. So I am going to play my music again. And then I'm going to pick up my shawl and I'm going to show you guys my dance for like, I probably won't dance the whole song. It's like a 3-minute song. But unless, yeah, I'll just stop when I feel like it.
We'll get a good sense of.
Yeah.
Beautiful. While you catch your breath, thank you for asking us that question to get us ready for this poll. While you catch your breath, we're going to ask people that are watching, and those on YouTube unfortunately can't answer the poll, but those that are tuned in by Zoom, what animal did the dance remind you of? A bee, a butterfly, an eagle, a hawk? Show us your choices. Let us know what you think Deanne's beautiful dance looked most like. Was it look like a bird or an animal? So excited to see what people think. Hey, Deanne, look at that. Most people are thinking you look like a butterfly. You were pretty light on your feet and very elegant. Excellent. And you know what we're finding out is people really want to know about that indigenous Star Wars looking painting on your wall. There's this set of questions.
That's so funny. Um,
Exactly.
so you all got it correct. My dance is based off of a butterfly. Um, this dance is also a warrior dance. It is the evolution of our traditional dances. Because at one time, like for a long time in Canada, we weren't allowed to practice our culture. So in my grandparents' lifetime until 1951, our culture was against the law. And that's why my mom didn't learn her culture. But it was right around that same time when many, many Indigenous men were going to war for Canada. And
Mhm.
that was the time when women started to like step up and also be warriors. So they started to dance the men's fancy dance. But
Okay.
then the people were like, that's not your dance, that's for the men. So we're going to give you this other dance with a shawl. And the women and the men, they danced the same for a very long time. But now they both have evolved into their own dances.
Beautiful.
But yeah, the fancy shawl is a warrior dance and it's a butterfly dance. It's said that when we're closed up, we're in our cocoons and then we fly when we dance. And that painting there was painted by a guy from my community, Tamagami. His
Yes.
name's Blake Achkanab. And it was a present for my husband's birthday because my husband, he really loves Lego and he loves Star Wars. So I wanted to get him a one of a kind special birthday present last September. And then Blake Achkanab made this for us. And I think he's based out of Kenora.
Beautiful. He'll definitely grow old with that painting. That
Yeah.
painting will mean a lot for many years to come. People are also super interested. There was actually a whole little classroom that wrote some questions ahead of time. And they said, what did you like most about powwows and what's your favorite instrument? Was one question.
Um, so I don't sing. No, I used to sing when I was little. I would sing backup on the drum because there's stories that say that the drum was a gift from the women to the men to keep the men together during the time of colonization. And that's when they were like forcing all Indigenous people onto reserves. And the drum was a tool to keep the men together and give them purpose. So, women, we were taught to stand behind them and support them. But that was like we're still struggling through colonization, but sometimes the spirit of that big drum will also call to women and to spirit people. So men or man or woman can sing on that big drum. Um, so yeah, that might be something you guys can look into too, to study our music. Because our
It's
drums are spiritual. We use them to like pray, we use them to celebrate, we use them to like grieve. Like when someone from our community passes away, we sing special songs for them, for their spirits.
well, you're sharing so much information about your culture. Very generous. Someone's asking, why do the outfits look so special? They're not all the same. They're quite special.
Yes, every outfit is different and every outfit is handmade. I don't know if you can see, but this is
Yeah.
beadwork, and this is like thousands and thousands of beads tacked on one by one. And I'm Anishinaabe, so my beadwork, you can tell I'm Anishinaabe when you look at my beadwork. So that's why it's always important to know your nation because each nation has different designs. So mine is floral and it's based off the land. 100 years ago, they wouldn't use a beaded background. They would use like the leggings you showed. They would use velvet or a felt behind.
Yes.
But I love these sparkly beads.
And
And
is it heavy?
yeah, my beadwork, it's like wearing a glass suit. So you might be able to imagine like wearing a bunch of cups.
There you
So
go.
it is heavy.
Ah,
So it's always good to like be active. Like that's why I have my stationary bike and I have my tricep area over there, my pull-up bar.
goes. So it keeps a good workout. And one of the things that I've heard over the years, because I wore my cedar bark hat on my neck today. I'm wearing my headband because I'm a West Coaster. But if I was ever at a powwow, you would know I'm a West Coaster. And
Yeah.
I'm not a powwow gal, but I would still wear my hat because I like to hide from the sun. But I would wear it just to sort of show my culture. And the only time I ever feel okay to dance is when I hear the MC say everybody dance because he keeps yelling intertribal over and over. But the rest of the dances we're there to watch, aren't we?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes they have special songs for special categories of dancers. And it's amazing. Like one of my friends is a two-spirit man and he dances a woman's dance. And that's okay. Like two-spirit people have a place in our powwow circle.
That's beautiful. I'm a two-spirit mom as well. And back home, one of my former girlfriends, she didn't like to put dresses on and she didn't like to dance, and she stood with the men and drummed and nobody shooed her away. They just respected her because that was what was comfortable for her. So most of our cultures don't force us to tell us you have to, if you're a man you have to wear pants, if you're a woman you have to wear a dress. So we're getting better at that, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We have to keep working to make it more inclusive for the LGBTQ two-spirit community. Okay, so I want to get back up and I want to dance. If you noticed when I was dancing, I was doing all sorts of different like steps with my feet. So I want to show you the tool that taught me to make footwork for my powwow dancing. So when I was 17 years old, this was 20 years ago, I was living in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I hadn't danced for a few years because I was a cool teenager. And then I heard that there was a powwow dance class happening at the Thunderbird House in the North End. And so I went. And there was a woman there and her name was Bonnie. And she taught me this tool to make up footwork for my powwow dancing. She said to paint an imaginary box around your feet and to step into the corners. So it was like 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then same on the other side, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And she said to practice tapping the different corners to come up with your own steps. So let's try tapping the front corners. Other side. Okay, now let's try making it a little bit harder. So we're going to add a hop. Let's try the back corners. Other side. Shin. Okay, I want to show you guys a little sequence of choreography that you can loop together to a powwow dance song. And it starts off with a crisscross. So we jump out, we jump forward with one foot, out, the other foot comes forward. So it's out, forward, out, forward, out, forward, out, forward. So we're going to do crisscross twice. Crisscross, crisscross. And then we're going to do side tap twice. Side tap, other side tap. Side tap, other side tap. And then we're going to do small kicks. Small kick, small kick, small kick, small kick. And then we're going to loop that together. And we're just going to repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. So I'll do it once, and then I want you to join me on the second time. So then at least you can see how it looks together. And it looks like this. Crisscross, crisscross, side tap, other side tap, small kick, join me, crisscross, crisscross, side tap, other side tap, small kick, crisscross, crisscross, side tap, other side tap, small kick, okay, we're gonna do it, but this time we're gonna use music. So I'm gonna open up my music and let's see if we can do it for 1 minute or so. I want to listen to a different song. We've already listened to that song. Okay, it's a fast song. Crisscross, crisscross, side tap, other side tap, small kick, crisscross, crisscross, side tap, other side tap, small kick, crisscross, crisscross, side tap, other side tap, small kick, small kick. Okay.
Brilliant. Let you catch your breath there, Deanne. That's awesome. I'm so happy that you gave me more than step touch to work with next time I'm at a powwow. Whatever you do on one side, I see you do on the other side. Is that something?
Yeah, it's like the teaching of the butterfly wings. Like when you see a butterfly wing, there's the same thing, like it's mirrored on each side. So you do the same with your footwork.
If you look at your hands and go like this, that's the first sign my kids learned was butterfly.
Oh, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what is this one again?
Oh, native, indigenous,
Yes.
people of the water and land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a question about the two spirit the kids want to know. Do you want to answer that one?
For sure. Two spirit, that's really a way of acknowledging somebody who might, instead of me dating a man, I might date a woman. So my partner in life might be a woman. Right now I'm just single, but that's okay. My children have known me to also have I've had a partnership with men before. So two spirit is a person that can make a choice about who they share their life with. And in many of our Indigenous communities, we don't judge that. We just trust people are, find their happiness in their own way. And, sometimes our communities might suffer because we talked earlier about colonization, and some people might have lost some of their traditional knowledge. And sometimes we get a little scared of people who have a partner that's the same gender, but we're just human beings looking out to find love and take care of each other in a good way. So two spirit, my children know me as a two spirit mom, and sometimes they have an extra kind of mom energy or extra auntie energy in their life. So very cool. There's so much interest. We don't have much on the go right now, but powwows, this is the season for powwows. We would have had Mother's Day powwows, even giveaway powwows. Is there any last comments you would have to say about how people could prepare themselves, or what are our options while we're still in quarantine?
Oh, you mean to go to powwows?
Yeah. Are you aware of anything coming up soon, or what people have done different now that
like, there's a Indigenous group on social, like on Facebook.
Yeah.
They have like the social distance powwow group, and they always post the virtual powwows, and they have so much videos of people that dance on that group. So maybe your parents or teacher can check out that group to post. I don't know if you can do it from schools though, but also, yeah, most of the virtual powwows are like, if you just Google them, virtual powwow. Sometimes like University of Toronto will be having a virtual powwow. In Toronto, like Wandering Spirit will be having a virtual powwow. So we're doing the best we can.
We are. And this is the time of year we would normally see you and all your beautiful children out in the community. And we miss you all very dearly. But thanks for taking time today to be with us. And special thanks to Ampava, because they're supporting your artist feed today. And so glad the Association of Native Development and the Performing Visual Arts makes it possible for us to stay home and stay safe and still enjoy some art. So thanks so much, Deanne. We're just going to get any last words. We're just going to go to a bit of a wrap up.
I think that's, if anyone, like, I do have a YouTube channel where I share some of these stories. So, and I share the exact same lesson that we just did together. And it's just like on my YouTube channel, How to Powwow Dance. I'm hoping to make some more content for educational purposes soon.
Excellent.
Oh, my feather regalia and how the shawl is made. My beadwork was made by a family of 4 people from Thunder Bay, the Gustafson family. My feather it took me over 30 years to earn this feather. This feather is a sacred responsibility. And I'm so grateful for it. It's the tail feather of a golden eagle. So it's there's special ways I take care of it. I smudge it, I put tobacco out for it. And my shawl I handmade with like fancy fabrics. Actually, my shawl was made by my friend Garrett Henry. He's from Roseau River, and he is an indigenous artist. He's Anishinaabe, and he does beautiful florals. So I bought it off of him. And my shawl actually has little babies on it.
Precious.
Here, I'll show you. It has this mama carrying her baby in a tikanagan or in a moss bag, riding a horse, real deadly.
That's very urban to be riding a horse. No, it's an urban horse, I guess. I love it. I have some Sama. I live next to the Great Lake Ontario. I'll lay that down for you in a good way, because I know one of the things that's beautiful about powwow dancers is they dance for people who can't. So I thank you for bringing us such great teachings and good thoughts today, Deanne.
You bet.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to say a quick hello to Sarah Elliott in our control room, because this particular work of Indigenous Voices doesn't happen by myself. Sarah makes us look great. We hope people post their art, and Sarah can tell us what teachers can expect after the episode today.
Sure. So in about 24 hours, teachers, keep an eye on your inboxes. You will receive a follow-up email with educational resources. We will be sure to get Deanne's YouTube channel on that, so you will have all those great links. And then on about Wednesday, if there's anything that you want to revisit, keep an eye on the ROM's YouTube channel, because we should have this webinar up there with captions and all that good stuff. And if you want to share anything, any art, any dances, you can tag us in at ROM Toronto.
Excellent. Thanks, Sarah, for always helping us make Indigenous Voices run smooth. Thanks again to Deanne for joining us today. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your change of season. Take care. Choo.